Question 615. Is there anything that science should ethically not investigate?
Yeah.
No.
No, here we go.
Here we go.
That was
no.
So
No, okay, wait. What do you mean? Wait, hang on. I need clarification. Investigate or experiment on or with? Because investigate, no. But
No.
I'm sorry. I just flashed on some bad stuff from the 1940s in my head for a second.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't investigate it. It doesn't mean you shouldn't look into the... I mean, they have to go to an ethics board to discover if the experiments are ethical in the first place. So this is why you have ethics board. So I don't think anything's out of bounds to investigate. But yeah, I think you need some bounds as to what you can experiment with.
Yeah.
And
like
on...
that gentleman
But does
in
that-
Japan who cloned the twins, so they'd be immune to HIV, but now we're not sure like what the long-term ramifications of that's going to be for them. Is a good example of someone who didn't go to an ethics board and just did whatever he wanted, and now it's a thing.
Exactly.
The question is can you, if you can deny experimentation on ethical grounds, does that not automatically leave some avenues of investigation?
Yeah, it does. But I mean,
it stops you from doing an experiment that would involve maybe animals or humans in a certain way, but that doesn't necessarily stop you from investigating it. There's still simulation. There's still experiments that can surround that where you're not actually hurting people or animals or whatever else is the danger of doing this experiment. So quite often it doesn't stop it. It just makes it a lot harder.
Yeah. You just might have to find a workaround.
I don't think that stops the investigation, though. It makes it harder, but it doesn't stop it.
I'm kind of of the opinion that anything can be investigated. Again, it is when you do that initial sort of investigation. It's like you come to a certain point where, whether it be experimenting or whatever, that then there's ethical issues of going forward. That's when that consideration has to be taken into account of, can we go forward with this? Should we not go forward with this on ethical grounds? But like in terms of like an initially investigating this, I don't see an issue.
Yeah, I mean, even a thought experiment is still investigating something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, but okay, assuming you take out most of the human equation.
Well, I will say this: when we were first testing H-bombs, when the U.S. was first testing H-bombs, they knew there was a chance that it might ignite oxygen molecules in the air and destroy the atmosphere, and they did it anyway.
Yeah,
which is kind of messed up. Like, I mean,
not
it was
really.
a small chance, but
that's the point.
Fair, there's nothing like
There's some very smart people doing the calculations.
There's nothing There's nothing like a Wardo for the ethics book to be thrown out the fucking window.
Yeah. Robert says science should never research your questions or Badger's secret identity.
Finally, I'm safe in a blanket fort.
I just hope you don't have any biscuits with you, Badger.
Mother Atheist says, I will not participate in the experiment of the effects of hitting puppies in the face with a baseball bat.
No,
but you could do that without actually hitting the puppies, is my point. You could still investigate it without actually hitting any puppies. You could make simulations. You could make simulations of puppies' face. I don't endorse this, but we do the same things with crash-based dummies with people.
You can get
Jen is putting forward the grant proposal for testing whether or not hitting puppies in the face with a baseball bat by simulation.
I'm saying you couldn't do it ethically.
Oh no, you said it. There's no backtracking now, lady. You said it.
You can do a computer simulation first, can't you?
You can make an anatomically accurate skull.
I like that. You can do a computer simulation first.
You can make an anatomically accurate. To make an anatomically accurate skull, and surround it with ballistics gelatin and some kind of skin and fur covering, and then hit that with a baseball bat.
And this is how you perfect your technique first.
This has got dark. This got really dark.
Are they gonna make that awful yelpy noise? I can't stand that, even when it's
They
on
are.
TV.
Well, if you
It depends how you hit them.
realism, you'd program that in.
Maybe. Well, maybe it could be a good little gimmick for Major League Baseball or something. You know, you get someone who's good at hitting home runs, and like whoever catches the puppy that gets into the crowd. You know.
Oh Lord!
Oh!
You just made me regress, Jeff. I just regressed.
I think.
I didn't
Right.
cross
Okay.
myself,
Wait.
but I said, "Oh, Lord."
Robert makes an interesting point that needs to be addressed here. Would it make a difference if it was a tennis racket?
I think
Well, I'm sure the effect would be slightly different.
I think it would, and you would need a different testing medium, because the tennis racket would interfere. The thin fibers of the strings would interfere with the ballistics gelatin, so you'd need a skin covering on it.
Well, and the puppy wouldn't be bouncy enough.
It depends on whether you use the racket cover or not, wouldn't it?
Yes.
You couldn't play a proper
Yes.
game of tennis with a puppy. It's not bouncy
Oh,
enough.
that's true.
They don't bounce. I was going to say they don't bounce very well.
It's true.
No.
It's true.
Whereas
Puppies
you
do
use
not
baseball,
bounce. I've seen them fall.
you
And
can
they're going
pick-
to chase the balls everywhere.
But-
So
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, you'd probably get a better game of soccer out of a puppy.
I don't.
Okay, this is really messed up. Move
No.
on,
Yeah,
Dave.
I think we should. I think we've explored the puppy beating as far as we can.
We don't need
Good
to-
example.
I'm
We
gonna
don't need to
say,
talk about that anymore.
I'm gonna actually say kittens are better for soccer.
Mm.
And
Oh.
I'd just like to say,
Yeah.
That's a bold
yes
assertion.
for that digression.
I don't think you'd get a very good football game out of either, because one, they're not structurally sound for that kind of use, and two, you'll make the audience sad.
Yeah, you would.
Every time you
Sorry,
kicked
now
it,
I'm
it would make a
imagining,
noise. Every
Okay.
time you kicked it, it would.
I don't know if you see it.
Well, only for the first half of the
you guys
game, Dave.
stop.
Oh,
I
You're
yeah.
mean,
just going to make the audience sad.
I don't know. If you see
Other
if you see
answers
the
to the
football audience is bad, I probably
that's
wouldn't
it. I'm
mind
muting
it.
all of you.
Right. Go back to the thing question. So we're basically agreeing that there is nothing we shouldn't ethically investigate, but there are issues with experimentation.
Yes, I think that's where we landed before it got weird.
Lame Jen.
This is
Weird.
why I have a blank.
Weird. No, that was
How
like
is that
borderline
my
psycho.
fault? You read it out.
This sort of question is why I have a blanket for.
I might have to build one up.
How on earth was that possibly my fault? I will take the blame when it's my fault, but that was not my fault.
Because you're Australian.
Oh, moving on.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I forgot about that. Damn
Okay.
it!
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.